In this video production, I'm going to share and tell why I like and use Google Drawing. Now, Google Drawing has been something I've used for several years, and I've watched it become what it is today, from something very simple and very low-key to something that is actually fairly powerful as far as a digital graphic production suite. So we're going to take a look at three things. We're going to take a look at the canvas, we'll look at page elements, and also how to insert text and word art. First thing we'll take a look at is the canvas itself. To manipulate the canvas, or the view of the canvas, so you have a wider range of viewing area, you can simply just go up to View and click on Zoom Out. And this will allow you to zoom out of the canvas. Now, in doing so, you'll also be able to use these handlebars down at the bottom right-hand corner and enlarge the canvas to the size that best meets your design needs. At the same time, you can obviously zoom in. So I'm going to hit View and zoom in a couple times. And you'll notice that when I do this, I can select preset values here. It shows me the current percentage. And then it also allows me to zoom out and in as I want. Also, you can see that there's shortcuts depending on what operating system you're using, whether it's Windows or Mac. So you can use those to even streamline your work and your navigation within Google Drawing. Now you'll notice that as I move around on this, if I zoom in a little bit further, I can move around with my mouse and sort of span and pan around the canvas area. So if I want to get really detailed with some things, I can do that as well. All right, let's zoom out to 100% and actually go a little further to 52%. That'll fit my screen. Now, let's move on to page elements. Elements are just something that you put onto a page. Now, an element is the general term. So an element can consist of different shapes. So if I click up here, I can throw out a bunch of different shapes onto my canvas. And I can just draw them out like so. And then I can obviously change the fill colors and so forth. Then I can also throw onto the canvas not just shapes that are predefined, but I can actually draw things as well, okay, with the lines and scribbles and so forth. Finally, a really nice feature that was added about a year or two ago with Google Drawing is inserting images. Now you can insert images from a variety of different locations or sources. You can upload one from your computer. You can take a snapshot of yourself and you can just click allow and allow that to run. You can see that there's my snapshot if I want to put it in there. So I'll just take a snapshot and select that, and that'll go into my drawing. Of course, you can do URL. You can go to your albums in Google Photos. You can go to your Google Drive, and you can actually search an image right here. So this is taking a little bit longer, but there it is. It's in there. And now you can do many different things with this shape. You can obviously resize any element that's on there. You just saw me resize my image. So if I want to make it skinnier, I can do so. I can move it around, skinnier like that. Obviously, a photo is not good to do that with. So if you hit Shift and one of the corner elements, and you drag while you hold Shift, it will keep the dimensions or the ratio of the dimensions the same. Same thing with shapes. You can make it skinnier if you want. Move it around, make it skinnier. I'm going to go back here. Or I can keep the dimensions and I can make them like so. I'll put that back there. Another additional feature is obviously you can see that this is lying in the background. I can move this up if I right click on it and go to bring to front, or I'm just going to keep it in the back. Finally, with the image, I can do things with the image such as crop it, I can go to image options and see what I want to do with it. So I want to put it a little yellow. All right, and that's the image. Moving on to text insertion and word art. I'm going to select all of these by just dragging, and I bring them down in the very center, and you notice how these lines line up. That's telling me that it's aligned directly in the middle, horizontally, and also vertically. And it also will show up with shapes as well. If I move this shape, you can see those lines show up, telling me that it's aligned in one way or another with the object behind it or next to it. All right, now text insertion. So if I want to add a text, I'm just going to go up here to the text box, and I can draw the text wherever I want, and it can be type in the text, me doing a screencast. Now you'll notice that it shows up as basic text. I can format that text by just clicking on the box itself, not actually highlighting it. And I can go up to here and I can say I want a different font, so droid serif. I want to make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to make 24. I want to adjust the alignment, so I come over here. Adjust alignment within the box itself. All right, and let's make it middle alignment. Okay, and then finally, if I want to add a title to this, I'm just going to go to Insert, and I can insert word art. Now, here I'll get a little different dialog box to type into. So I'm going to say image of me doing. All right. Now you'll notice that this big, I guess, image of my text shows up. And so this is word art. Now, I can manipulate the color of that. So I can say I want the inside to fill to, let's say, this color, sort of matches my photo. And then I'm going to make the line red, and then I'm going to make that line a little smaller so it's not so transparent. And there we have my title. Now the title seems a little bit too big to me, so I'm going to sort of adjust that. Now, if I adjust the size of this text, watch what happens with the text inside. This element pushes all that information together, all that text together. Contrastly, or obviously different than actually doing the just regular text, with the word art, if I move this and hit shift and keep the same ratio, you're going to notice that the actual word art gets changed. And I don't have to keep this font. The font's really not doing much for me, so I'm going to go to Arial. I'm going to go to the font, and let's go ahead and put in some droid serif here. All right. Now one final thing I might want to do is take this transparent background. I'll hit right click, I'll hit background, and make it a color, a solid color in general. So I'm going to make maybe yellow. Maybe, yeah, yellow. Let's background, and let's go with a light blue. And there you go. You have a Google drawing by looking at how to adjust the canvas, looking at the page elements and what you can do with those page elements once they're on the canvas, and finally how you can add text, whether it be just regular text or word art.